All right, welcome back to the Field of 68 After Dark. I am Jeff Goodman of Stadium. I'm joined by Sean and Archie Miller. And it is time, boys. We have hemmed, we have hawed, we have flipped and flopped, and National Player of the Year award has been, I'm telling you, I think it's, and Archie's going to fight me on this because he's had a guy for months, and I've had a guy for months, and Sean's probably had several guys for months. But I think it's been wide open. I really do. I don't think there's been a clear front runner.
February 1st.
February 1st.
I think on February 1st, everyone was playing for second place.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. Arch, since you have, again, you've been ahead of the curve here, which is tipping my hat a little bit.
He's been behind the curve too now. I mean, he's both ahead and behind. Depends what you want to bring up.
He just makes things up.
We'll find out what he's behind the curve on later, Sean.
There's a lot of footage and recordings. A lot of the fabrications that he blows up are not true. I said something one time and it ends up becoming 4 weeks worth of stuff. Oscar Tshiebwe is the National Player of the Year in a runaway.
Yeah, I second that.
What he did this season for Kentucky the whole time through, even when they were trying to figure themselves out. If you think about it, when they didn't know anything about their team, he got 20 and 20 against Duke. And then in the last game of the regular season here the other day, I think he gets 26 and 15, just staggering numbers, historic numbers. Yep. The role he plays on a great team. Oscar should win the National Player of the Year.
Hey, he's really good on defense too. I mean,
great.
Everybody talks offense. Yep. You take him off the floor, Kentucky's defense suffers, but he is the most important player. He's the most productive player. And guess what? His team has a chance to win it all. He's a National Player of the Year.
You know what? I fought it with Johnny Davis. And I guess, again, I go back to, I want to take Johnny Davis on Wisconsin and say, like, they're not good without him. Now, you could do the same thing with Oscar. You could do it with every guy who's going to be in the equation for the National Player of the Year award. But ultimately, that's kind of what I did with Johnny. And Wisconsin had been so much better than any of us thought they'd be. But I'm there now. I mean, listen, this guy's averaging 17 and 15. And he plays so damn hard and plays with such an infectious personality. So I think, again, all of the Kentucky players, they stand around, they watch him because they just expect him. He's going to get every rebound. They don't even try for a rebound team because they know it's a lost cause. He gets everyone in practice.
I'm confused. Are you talking about Johnny Davis or Oscar?
Oscar, not okay. Johnny Davis.
Who are you? Are you voting for Oscar?
He's picking.
Yes.
He picked Oscar.
Thank you. I was going to say, like, you must have an already scheduled trip to Madison, Wisconsin. If you're going to, I look. It's just your point's well taken, Jeff. I mean, have we seen a guy recently put up the numbers in the SEC conference for? How about when they went to Kansas?
Right.
With that game,
dominated
for Kansas,
killed him.
He is a monster. He's a monster.
I think sometimes we want to fall in love with a guy that can make a play off the bounce, right? Like, it's different than the big who's just going to overpower. And Oscar's big, but I'm telling you, if you put Oscar up next to Kofi,
not close.
He's so much smaller. Yeah, so much smaller. Like, in person, again, he's jacked and all that, but he is not nearly as big as what you might think he is, seeing him on TV. All right, so that's we all agree now, Player of the Year, unanimously giving it to Oscar. Coach of the Year. Sean, we'll start with you. I think you're going to go with your boy here, but I could be wrong.
I'm going to go with Ed Cooley, but I'm going to back it up with some rationale, all right? Number one, he accomplished something in the history of Providence that has not been accomplished before. It's a first. It's a first time. The second part of it is he was totally responsible. Ed has been there for a long time in the Big East Conference as the head coach for Providence. He's built the infrastructure. He's gone through the tough times. He's gone through the great times. He is the person in charge of that basketball program and has been in charge for a period of time. To see his team accomplish what they've done this year in some magical moments, what his team has meant to Providence as a city, the university, the Big East Conference. I think it's the story of the year, and he did the best job, especially when you consider the talent and the players that he has, and they're good, but there are a lot of other programs that have as good or better talent. But what Ed has achieved, I think he's the national coach of the year.
Arch?
My national coach of the year until probably 4:00 was Greg Gard.
Yeah.
And Greg Gard lost at home to Nebraska, so he lost the Coach of the Year award today.
Yeah, that's a tough blow for him.
Wow, that's a brutal loss.
Greg Gard had Coach of the Year for the last month in my book until today. So it was a tough loss for him. But I'm going to go with Scott Drew.
Good pick.
He won the best conference through the most adversity, and he is a number 1 seed off of 4 guys losing off the national championship team. And he arguably will be one of the favorites to win it again. Look at the injuries, the games missed. He replicated as good of a year as you could possibly have in the toughest conference in the country, and did it with a lot of adversity in terms of the lineup. And I just feel like what he did this season, if they were healthy and full boat the whole year, I think they would have been a clear head and shoulders number 1 team in the country. But they still managed to be right there again. I think Scott Drew should win national coach.
All right. My pick, and we're going to close with this, Mark Adams, also in the Big 12, 23-8, 12-6, third in the Big 12. Nobody had him anywhere near there. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you join us every night tomorrow night. Me, Steve Probe, Rob Doster, 2 more bids in the line again in the SoCon and Sun Belt. We'll see you tomorrow.
Who'd you give freshman of the year to?
All clear.
We're going to go through that now. We're going to go through that in the afters. Freshman of the year. I'll start with that one. I gave it a Chet. I just think he's been so dominant on kind of both ends of the court. I mean, so dominant defensively, and that's where he differentiates himself from Jabari, to me, and Paolo. And he's shooting the hell out of the ball. I know it's in the WCC, but the WCC is better, more balanced than it's been, I guess is probably the better word, because BYU's not better, certainly not in league play, than they've traditionally been. But St. Mary's, man, Randy Bennett, I wanted to put Randy Bennett in the conversation for Coach of the Year. We saw, Sean, you've seen them numerous times.
Yeah.
What he's done with that group is ridiculous.
And he does it every year. It's a version of each year. It's kind of what Scott Drew's doing as a 1 seed, Randy Bennett's doing, as a tournament team. But yeah, what he does, how he does it, it's remarkable. He's been there for 21 years, Jeff. And I go back when I came to Arizona and watched his program then. And right now it's, 13 years later, there's certain years when he's a little bit more talented or a little bit more experienced, but for the most part, the most consistent team you can have and program you can have, especially where they're located and what they have. Yeah. Such a small place, No doubt. All right, listen, what's more important than peace of mind? Nothing. That's what NordVPN is here for, to give you peace of mind while you're online. And with all the threats that you face today on the internet, it's more important than ever to be sure that you have the best VPN you can get. NordVPN, the world's leading VPN service, offering the fastest connectivity, the most servers, and next-gen encryption to make sure that everything you do online stays secure. Plus, you can use NordVPN on all your computers and devices, no matter the operating system. With NordVPN's unlimited bandwidth, you never have to worry about a slow connection, and plans start at under $4 a month. So grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/believe, BLEAV, or use the code BLEAV. That's BLEAV to get up to 70% off your NordVPN plan, plus 1 additional month for free. All right, so I went Chet. Anybody going a different route
Jabari
than Chet?
Smith. I'm going to stick with Jabari.
Well, you love,
Smith.
Listen, there's no bigger fan on the planet. You were ahead of the game. Listen, Sean, we got to give him credit on that one too.
Yep.
I watched that Atlantis tournament. There was only one guy I centered in on in terms of the way he moved and whatnot. I think he's going to be a great pick. Hopefully he's the number one pick or whatever, but I think he's going to be a great pro. But he has an unbelievable responsibility on that team to be a go-to player. He's in a toughest conference other than the Big 12 in the country. They won the league outright. He had some monster games. To me, he's the freshman of the year nationally.
That's fair.
Agree. I agree. And now here's all I would say. The two freshmen, Kendall Brown and Jeremy Sokan at Baylor, are studs. They almost don't get as much credit as they deserve because there's two of them. They almost take from one another when it comes to like a national freshman of the year conversation. But I think if you talk to anybody in the Big 12 playing against Baylor, part of Baylor's secret sauce this year is they incorporated two freshmen and they became two of their best defensive players. How many times can you say that? And you look at their versatility, their size, their length, how they defend and the plays they make. I mean, that's one reason why Baylor has stayed on course in spite of the injuries. And I know Sokan went down for a period of time, but Arch, correct me if I'm wrong, when Sokan went down, that was a period of time where Baylor struggled maybe the most.
They lost.
Yeah.
They lost.
Sokan and Kendall Brown, I agree. Jabari, I would go with him as well for the National Freshman of the Year. But I think watching Baylor, those two players are terrific. They really are.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Kendall Brown to me is a guy that if he was in a different program, he might be averaging 16 points a game. To me, he personifies this Baylor team because he doesn't try to do more. And I told him that when I was there a few weeks ago. I said, everything you're doing is right. You'll get your opportunities later on in life, but you are impacting winning in the ideal way. You don't complain. You don't force anything. You're not worried about your draft stock. You play hard. He makes every right decision. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about Kendall Brown.
Yeah, I agree.
He's good.
All right. Let's go through some questions. Greg.
All right, so I want to put you guys. I'm here. I want to put you guys through a little speed round.
Go first team All-American. Go first team All-American.
All right, we'll go first. All right, we'll go first team All-American while we're waiting.
Go ahead. First team All-American.
Ready?
Yep.
We all agree on Oscar. We all agree on Johnny Davis, I assume.
I have Johnny Davis.
John?
Yes.
Do we all agree on Ochai Agbaji?
Yes.
Do we all agree on Keegan Murray?
I have Keegan second team.
So do I.
Okay.
I have Colin Gillespie and Kofi.
I have Kofi as well. Sean?
My first team is Oscar, Drew Timme. Everybody forgets about Drew Timme.
Yep,
he's the best player on the number one team in America. Ochai Agbaji at Kansas speaks for itself. Ben Mathurin in Arizona, number one seed, Pac-12 player of the year. If you really look closely at what he's done, it's second to none. And I'm going to go with Jaden Ivey just because I think he, from a talent perspective, transcends Purdue. That's my five. Oscar, Drew Timme, Agbaji, Ben Mathurin, and Jaden Ivey. Top five, first team All-American.
Yeah, I went with Colin Gillespie. I think he's the best winner in college basketball. I think he's on the best team in the Big East, even though they didn't win it. And I think at the end of the day, if Villanova is to win the Big East championship again and move on in the tournament, he'll continue to play. If you look at his numbers, they're great. Johnny Davis, Agbaji, Oscar, and Kofi. And Kofi delivered on a Big Ten title. He averages 21 and 10.5. He may beat Johnny Davis for the Big Ten Player of the Year based on that last day of the season today.
Jeff, you confused me. Just so I'm clear, Johnny Davis was first team and Jaden Ivey was second team. So I went
for you.
Yeah, I went. Yeah. Yep. I mean, if I was voting, that's a tough call because I love Jaden Ivey, but
I do too.
Winning Johnny Davis and Ben Mathurin, Agbaji, Drew Timme, and Oscar. That's my first team All-American. Now, second team All-American, like the top 10 players.
Yep.
I have Jaden Ivey. Right.
Yep.
So Johnny Davis is first team. Jaden Ivey is second team. Keegan Murray, Kofi, J.D. Notte.
Yep, me too.
Colin Gillespie. And just the note to Mama Hog, I have J.D. Notte as an All-American. Arch did not vote for him on the All-American team. You did not
get him.
Mama Hog's not going to be mad at me at the end of the day.
She will.
She is.
I've been a fan of the Hogs, and I've picked them. I thought they did a hell of a job this weekend coming back in that game.
Arch.
Mama Hog's
Archie's trying to kiss up to her now. Look at this.
Mad at me.
13 out of 14. They've won 13 out of 14, 12 out of 13, something like that. They're one of the hottest teams in America. JD Notte, defense, offense. I mean,
everything.
He just is a playmaker. He is a stud. And you didn't pick him on your All-American team. Let me just make sure.
My second team, All-American team, is Keegan Murray, Drew Timme, Ben Mathurin, EJ Liddell, and Jaden Ivey. I didn't pick JT Notte. He's on my third team All-American. So
there's only 2 teams.
He made third team All-American with Walker, Kessler, him.
Mama Hog, that's the fear you've created. He's so scared he created a fictitious third team. There is no third team.
Yes, there is third team All-American.